I'm Amarendra Kumar Sharma. I was supposed to deliver this talk on soliton steering in parity time symmetric nonlinear couplers on 23rd March, but due to Zoom connectivity issue, I was unable to do that. Today I'm recording this talk. It was supposed to be a 40 minutes talk, but I'm reducing it to 20 minutes to save your time. Let me begin by first thanking the organizers and ICTS for this opportunity to present our work, and I also thank SCRB Government of India for supporting my work through a grant. We actually started working on the area of PT physics way back in 2013. I was introduced to this very fascinating area by Professor Dimitris Christodouliou, and I am always would remain grateful to him. And I wrote the first paper with him in way back in 2014. And after that, my group explored parity time symmetry, particularly in optical system for various applications. For example, in this work with my student Jyoti, we showed how to get highly amplified light transmission in multi-layered structure. Then in another work with my student Subhadeep, we explored how to delay the so-called sudden death of entanglement using exceptional points in the context of a optomechanical system. One another area where we are interested in exploring nonlinear dynamics in optical systems, in PT symmetric optical systems. And in recently, we have written a short review article in ABS Quantum Science where we touched upon the role PT symmetry may play in continuous variable quantum entanglement in optomechanical systems. So, this present talk is done in collaboration with uh, Professor M. Lakshmanan, A. Govindarajan, my uh, PhD student Deepti, and postdoc Ambaresh Sahu. The outline of the talk is as follows. First, I will talk about PT symmetry in couple waveguide systems, followed by a discussion on nonlinear coupler and soliton steering in nonlinear coupler, the trouble that we face in the conventional nonlinear coupler, and how nonlinear this non-Hermitian physics may be the savior here, and we'll then discuss soliton steering in nonlinear coupler, followed by ultra short and short pulse steering dynamics with both Carr and saturating nonlinearity, and then I will briefly conclude. Okay, by now everybody in this conference is aware of what PT symmetry is, and this was actually inspired by the work of Carl Bender, his 1998 this landmark paper where uh, he discussed for the first time PT symmetry in quantum mechanics, and this curiosity, mathematical curiosity, resulted in optical experiments starting in 2009 2010. First paper I think came in 2010 PRL, then this followed by this Nature Physics paper. And this is a landmark paper because in this paper this group who got inspired by this isomorphism between the Schrodinger equation in quantum mechanics and the Helmholtz equation in optics, it turns out that if the optical system can be designed in such a way that the refractive index, real part of the refractive index is symmetric and the imaginary part of the refractive index is antisymmetric, then parity time symmetry may be observed, and indeed that was observed in their experiment. And generally couple waveguide systems are very easy to understand, and at least the basic concept of PT symmetry can easily be understood. This is a linear coupler system where we have a loss waveguide and a gain waveguide coupled to each other by evanescent coupling. This is the coupling coefficient, and A and B are the respective fields in these two waveguides, and the system is found to be uh, PT symmetric, and they supports this kind of eigenvalues, and the eigenvalue is real if the coupling coefficient is much greater than the loss or gain parameter, and if the eigenvalues is real, then we say the system is in below the exceptional point. Exceptional point refers to when kappa is equal to z, then these are the eigenstates that is supported by this coupled system, and if it is above the exceptional point, these are the eigenstates. And because of this, it shows non-reciprocal behavior, and the launch condition becomes very important in PT system, because you see in conventional system it does not matter whether we launch it in the first waveguide or second waveguide, output state is identical. But in the case of PT symmetric system, whether we are below threshold or above threshold, the launch condition is important, the output states are different. And in fact this could be understood by this diagram here, where if a green light, say if a light is incident from say left, then it is going to follow a trajectory like this. But if the same light is launched from the right, then it is not tracing the green light, but it is going to take a different trajectory. And this actually is the non-reciprocal behavior, and it is typical of PT symmetric system, and it happens due to the so-called PT invariance. Alright, now let me talk about nonlinear coupler. A nonlinear coupler is described by this coupled nonlinear Schrodinger equations, where A1 and A2 are the fields at port 1 and port 2, Vg is the group velocity of the pulse, beta 2 is the group velocity dispersal, and gamma is the cell phase modulation parameter, sigma is the cross phase modulation parameter. And depending on the intensity of the input pulse, at the output, either the pulse would appear in port 1 or port 2. So launching condition is, or intensity of the pulse is important. Now if we consider a continuous wave and in the low power regime, then this system of coupled equation would become of this type, where delta A here is the asymmetric parameter, measure of asymmetry between the waveguides in the coupler. And if kappa 1 2 and kappa 2 1 are equal, then this equation, set of equation, can be solved very easily. And you see that it basically shows some kind of Rabi oscillation behavior. Power will get transferred from the first waveguide to second waveguide in periodic fashion. And if the length of the coupler is such that if KL is equal to say pi by 2, then all the power that is launched in the first waveguide would appear in the second waveguide. And when this happens for the first time, that is called the coupling length. That coupling length would be pi by 2 kappa. And in this plot, three graphs are shown, that is for different values of the ratio delta A by kappa actually. And in all the cases, periodic behavior can be observed. Now if we rather than continuous wave, if we use pulse, then group velocity dispersion has to be taken into account. And if the length is length of the coupler is less than the much less than the dispersion length, then dispersion effects can be neglected. And then this we just have to solve this linear coupled equations. And but sometimes what happens is that this coupling coefficient itself may depend on frequency. Then we can expand it with Taylor series, and as we expand it, the terms become weaker. But if we keep only the first two terms, say, then if kappa 1 is non-zero, then the pulse basically get broken into two sub pulses, and the distance between the pulses increases. The sub pulses increases as increase with the length of the propagation. Okay, as the propagation distance increases, if kappa 1 is equal to 0, then we again revert back to the typical Rabi oscillation behavior. On the other hand, if nonlinearity is taken into account, and then without any dispersive effect, we saw this kind of typical behavior. Here relative output power versus input power is plotted here. At very low input power, after one coupling length, this is measured after one coupling length of the coupler, the power will go into the second core of the wave of the coupler. Okay, and if the power is getting increased beyond the critical peak power, the critical peak power is the power where 50% of the power will remain in the first waveguide, 50% will remain in the second waveguide. If it is the power is exceeding this critical peak power, the after one coupling, then all the power will remain in the first waveguide itself. Okay, so this is what happens in the presence of nonlinearity. Because of nonlinearity, the phase that is experienced by the first waveguide, and the pulse in the first waveguide and wave in the or pulse in the second waveguide would be different. There would be phase mismatch, and that would be the reason why this kind of behavior is observed. This self phase modulation induced nonlinear phase shift is the physics behind this kind of behavior. But the trouble with this kind of coupler is that because if we just launch a pulse, for example, then the peak of the pulse would have higher intensity compared to the wings, so therefore the wings would go into the second core and the peak will remain in the first core, and therefore the pulse break will takes place, and which is extremely detrimental for many applications including communications and even for local applications. So pulse breakup is not uh, expected, or it is actually not wanted. And therefore if what it turns out that if both dispersion and nonlinearity is included, both these effects are dominant, and if they balance each other, then solitary wave solutions are supported by this couple differential equation, and then solitons can be supported. And what is found is that theoretically, that if the soliton peak power is greater than the critical peak power, then soliton would get steered into the first coupler. A good thing about soliton is that the phase is uniform throughout the pulse, so therefore there is no question of pulse breakup is there. And that's the reason why there is so much stress earlier was on soliton switching. And in fact in this plot you can see that this pulse that is launched in the first waveguide, if the soliton peak power is less than the critical power, then it will appear in the second core. But if the power is exceeding the critical peak power, then the pulse will remain, soliton pulse will remain in the first waveguide. It gets steered in the first waveguide itself. This is a second order soliton that is launched in this waveguide in this plot, and here it is a fundamental soliton whose power is actually less than the critical power. Okay, now there are a lot of troubles, as I said. One is the pulse breakup, and other issue is that extremely high critical power is required to realize this kind of switching or steering behavior, and it depends on the pulse shape also. Depending on the pulse shape, for example, if it is a bell shaped pulse, the critical power of is turns out to be around 140 kilowatt. On the other hand, it is around 80 kilowatt. This is experimental plots. One is in square pulse, it is better, but still it's very high, and this is actually hinders the progress in this area. And though a lot of theoretical progress was there, there's not much of experiment because of these issues. And therefore okay, if somebody is interested in knowing more about fiber couplers, they can look into these two books, particularly in the second book, Application of Nonlinear Fiber Optics by G.P. Agarwal. Second chapter contains all the things that I have described so far. Now non-Hermitian physics may be the savior in such cases that I just said. There are some notable works already done on PT couplers. One is the optical solitons has been already studied in PT nonlinear coupler with gain and loss. Even they found breeders in PT symmetric couplers. Stability of solitons is also studied. And then but this issue of soliton switching and steering was not done, so we have actually took up this study and we found something extremely interesting. So these are the system of equations that we considered here. We consider two type of PT symmetric coupler depending on the launch condition. If the pulse is launched in gain port, then this we are terming it as a type 1 PT symmetric coupler. If it is launched in the loss port, this is termed as type 2 PT coupler. Okay, then you see that compared to the conventional couplers, where 2 pi coupler means the coupling length is 2 pi, where kappa is considered to be 1, and in the case of PT we are taking this loss parameter or gain parameter to be 0.5, so that we remain in the below PT threshold. In the case of conventional coupler, we see critical power is high, as well as there are multiple the steering is there, and which is not periodic and non-smooth. But in the case of PT coupler, the multiple steering is completely get cancelled off, and the critical power is also reduced drastically. And here in this plot here, this pi by 2 coupler is shown here. For this pi by 2 coupler, as we increase gain or loss parameter, then this critical power is also getting reduced, and that is the case for even the 2 pi coupler. And good behavior is shown by type 2 coupler also. Only thing here, the soliton gets switched to the second core rather than the it gets steered. And here also we get low critical peak power. And the soliton propagation dynamics also studied. In conventional coupler, it is already known that soliton is very stable, and here also in type 1 as well as in type 2 PT coupler, soliton is found to be stable while propagating through the coupler. And in this some typical parameters we are suggesting for experimental realization. These are typically, it's already there are experiments, but if we now incorporate gain and loss, then it turns out that critical power is around 8.56 watt, compared to what was earlier reported to be in the kilowatt regime. So this is a significant improvement, we feel, then, and it can further be actually improved. This work we extended to the case of dark soliton also, and here also we get good results. You see, in the conventional coupler, this multiple steering is now getting completely cancelled in type 1 as well as in type 2, and we get good result in terms of critical peak power as well. Right now we are studying, this is an ongoing work where we have incorporated Raman effect and the self-steepening effect, because now we want to increase we basically address the issue of femtosecond soliton switching in such kind of a system, PT symmetric coupler. Then this equation has to be, we have actually numerically solved and studied this couple system of equations, and we really got some good result. One thing I want to comment is that when such kind of studies are done, generally most of the time this model is taken into account, which is a approximated model of this one. It is for only one waveguide I have written, but we have for rigorosity purpose we have taken this whole model. And we found that for example, just to give you an idea what interpol's Raman scattering does, as the soliton is propagating through the waveguide, what is happening is that the soliton is getting shifted towards the positive time axis. So this is not good for applications, because as the soliton, while it is propagating, it is getting shifted, so it may actually overlap the nearby or touch the nearby channel or overlap with other signal, then crosstalk and things may happen. And therefore this kind of perturbative effects are not good for communication systems. And we it turns out that if PT symmetry is exploited, and depending on the gain or loss parameter, this effect can be reduced. For example, third order, this higher order dispersion, we have actually studied third order and fourth order, these wings get developed, if this dispersion effects is called taken into account. But if we take the loss or gain parameters judiciously, then all these unwanted perturbative effect can be nullified. And this is what we found from our study. This is ongoing work, and we are soon going to communicate this work actually. Then another thing that we are addressing right now is the saturation nonlinearity rather than Kerr nonlinearity, which is generally found in fiber medium, particularly based on silica. But there are certain materials such as semiconductor dope silica or organic polymers where we can get very high nonlinearity, and thereby advantage of such thing is that we need not have to rely on very lengthy coupler. We can shorten the coupler length, and which is extremely important. In fact, we studied this using this couple nonlinear Schrodinger equation. Now rather than Kerr nonlinearity, we are using saturating nonlinearity. This is ongoing work, and already we are getting some interesting result in terms of coupler length. Now the coupler length is shortened to by pi by 2. It's shortened to pi by 2, and coupling coefficient is also reduced now 0.1, and loss parameter also we do not have to have very high loss. So we, rather than we just have to have say 0.05 we have taken, so that we remain in the below PT threshold, and we got some interesting result, and this is a good improvement. And soliton is also found to be stable inside the coupler. And our future direction and goals are that to study, mainly we want to understand the physics more in the presence of both loss and gain in such nonlinear coupler system, then come up with various practical scheme to facilitate experiments and go beyond fiber couplers. Actually maybe we some solid state coupler and something like that. And one ambitious goal is to whether we can study soliton steering and switching in the quantum regime, whether we can actually make it a quantum problem and study that. So that's our goal. So thank you so much for your kind attention and giving me this opportunity once again. I really appreciate your kindness. And if there is any questions, you please do email me at this email address. Thank you so much.